Picture this. You've just rearranged the living room, shifted a chair, moved a lamp, slid your dog's bed 3 feet to the left. It took you about 40 seconds. Then you watch your dog walk into the room, stop at the exact place where the bed used to be, lower their nose to the floor, circle twice, and lie down, not on the new bed, on the empty floor, on the ghost of where something used to be. You call their name, they look up at you, then they look back down at the floor and they stay there. You thought you were rearranging furniture. Your dog experienced something completely different. Most owners watching that moment assume it's a short-term adjustment, a little confusion, like waking up in a hotel room and reaching for a lamp that isn't there. Harmless, temporary, nothing to dwell on. That explanation feels reasonable because it mirrors our own experience of minor change. But here's the thing, that explanation is too small for what's actually happening inside your dog's mind. It fits the surface of the behavior and completely misses what's underneath, because a dog's sleeping spot is not a location, it's a psychological anchor. Over weeks and months, that corner of the floor becomes encoded in your dog's nervous system as a place where the world is predictable, where threat levels are low, where your scent is strongest and most constant, where rest is genuinely safe. That spot isn't just where they sleep. It's where their brain learned to stop scanning for danger. And that kind of neurological encoding doesn't update in 40 seconds just because you moved a piece of furniture. What your dog felt in that moment wasn't confusion. It was something closer to mild disorientation layered over low-grade vigilance, the kind of quiet alertness that says, something familiar is missing, and I haven't confirmed whether that matters yet. Sit with that for a moment, not as guilt, as understanding. Research from the Family Dog Project, led by Joseph Topal at Haute-Vosges-Lorraine University, established something foundational about how dogs form attachment, not just to people, but to environments that predict safety. Dogs develop what researchers call a secure base, a spatial and sensory reference point from which they feel stable enough to relax, explore, and trust. Your dog's sleeping spot becomes part of that map. When you remove it, the attachment system registers a disruption, not trauma, but a measurable, real shift in their baseline sense of security. Now watch what your dog does next, because the behavior itself is the explanation. They return to the old spot and sniff. They circle. They paw at the empty floor. This isn't stubbornness. This isn't habit in the mindless sense. This is self-regulation through scent memory. Your dog's olfactory system is searching for residual traces of their own body, the biological signature of a place their nervous system already trusts. Finding that scent would signal familiar, safe, mine. When the scent is faint or missing, the self-soothing loop can't complete. So they stay. They search. They try again. Here's why scent is so powerful for them specifically. Dogs carry up to 300 million olfactory receptors, compared to the roughly 6 million in a human nose. But the more important fact is where smell travels in the dog's brain. Unlike every other sense, scent bypasses the thalamus, the brain's relay station, and travels directly to the amygdala and hippocampus, the emotional center and the memory center. This means smell doesn't just inform your dog about the world, it regulates them. A sleeping spot saturated with familiar scent is, neurologically speaking, a calming stimulus. When that scent disappears from its expected location, the calming effect disappears with it, and the nervous system has to start the trust encoding process over from scratch. This response becomes significantly more intense in certain dogs. Older dogs, anxious dogs, and rescue dogs, any dog that has experienced previous instability, feel the loss of a familiar sleeping spot more acutely. For them, in a world that has already changed too many times, that corner of the room may have been the one thing that stayed constant. It also intensifies during periods of larger household disruption, a move, a new baby, a shifted schedule. In those contexts, the sleeping spot isn't just comfortable, it's the last stable variable. Understanding that distinction changes how you read the behavior entirely. And not all reactions are equal. This matters. A dog that visits the old spot once, sniffs briefly, and settles into the new bed within a day is recalibrating. Their nervous system is updating. That's healthy. A dog that refuses the new location for days, sleeps on hard floors nearby, or shows changes in appetite or increased proximity seeking is communicating something deeper. Not defiance, not a personality quirk, a nervous system that hasn't yet confirmed the new location is safe. These are different states, and they deserve different levels of attention. There's an evolutionary reason this runs so deep. Wild canids return to the same sleeping sites repeatedly, not out of preference, but out of survival logic. A known location means known escape routes, known threat levels, known smells. Sleeping somewhere unfamiliar meant vulnerability during unconsciousness. That ancient circuit still runs in your dog, regardless of how safe your home is, regardless of how many years they've lived there. When your dog resists a new sleeping spot, they are, at the deepest level, following an evolutionary rule written long before domestication. Unfamiliar places are not yet safe places. Now, two things most owners believe that simply aren't accurate. The first, dogs don't really care where they sleep as long as they're comfortable. Comfort is physical. It's about surface and temperature. Security is neurological. It's about what the brain has encoded as safe. These are not the same thing, and a comfortable new bed in an unfamiliar location does not automatically inherit the security of the old one. The second, if he won't use the new spot, he's just being stubborn. Avoidance of a new location is a safety assessment. Stubbornness implies choice without reason. What your dog is doing has a precise internal logic, rooted in how mammalian brains process environmental trust. There's nothing arbitrary about it. Here's what you can actually do with this knowledge. When you move your dog's sleeping space, place something with your scent, a worn t-shirt, used pillowcase, on the new bed before they approach it. Maintain the same pre-sleep routine in the new location. Stay calm during the transition because your dog's nervous system is co-regulating with yours. Research on canine stress responses consistently shows that owner effect directly influences how quickly dogs recalibrate after environmental changes. Your calm doesn't just comfort them emotionally, it signals safety through the same channels their brain uses to process threat. Your presence rewrites the risk assessment. This is what the behavior was always pointing toward. Beneath the circling and the returning and the nose against the empty floor, a dog's sleeping spot is not furniture. It is a felt agreement between their nervous system and the world. A place that said, "You are safe here, you can rest, nothing will reach you while you sleep." When you move it, your dog doesn't lose a bed. They temporarily lose that agreement. And the way they search for it, returning, circling, sniffing, isn't confusion. It's loyalty to a feeling. It's a creature doing the only thing it knows how to do when something safe disappears: go back to where it was and look for it again. Understanding that changes how you see your dog, not as an animal inconvenienced by rearranged furniture, but as a deeply feeling creature navigating trust, space, and safety in the only language available to them. Tonight, watch where your dog chooses to settle. Watch what they do before they finally lie down. Has your dog ever returned to an old spot after you moved something? Leave it in the comments, because what your dog is doing in those moments is far more precise than it looks. And next time, we're going to look at something that happens the moment you walk out the door. What's actually occurring inside your dog's brain in those first 30 seconds after it closes behind you.